friends, it's Mari from Mari Harai Archives, and today we're going to talk about a little something that I don't really mention a lot on my channel, or actually show on my channel, and I guess it's more of the functional side of my planning and notebooks. Now, functional for me will look different to some because I am currently in a time in my life where I don't need to plan out majority of my day. When I think about planning, it's mostly just like to-do list and things that I need to take care of for my kids' school or for the household. And so what I'm going to show you is kind of my system that kind of helps organize my life right now and how it helps me. So my memory is not very good, and so I need notebooks and planners to help me dump a lot of information. And it acts as my, I guess, junk drawer, so to speak, or my my just little notebook of information to remind me of just things I need to do. And so I kind of wanted to show you how the system that I use with my notebooks and planners that helps me organize my life. Now, a lot of these things you can most likely probably just do in one notebook. But my brain works in tabs. So in my case, my tabs are piles of different notebooks and planners. And on top of that, I am a lover of paper and notebooks and stationery in general. So um, a lot of these items I don't use on a daily basis. It's there for when I need the information, so it sits nice and pretty on my shelf. But it's a very useful tool for me when it comes to organizing my life, um, and just to have information when I need it and it's there. So um, I do want to mention before we get started, I think I have like 4 categories of notebooks that I'm going to show you. And then I do have one category that is very much something that I utilize on a daily basis, and that is my menu planning system. Now, I want to show you that, but I won't be able to show you much this video because I feel like the system that I use, it's been a system that I've used for a while now, and it has really worked for me. And I feel like that deserves its own little video. And so with that said, I do have a menu planning system that's going to be in another video, and I'll explain more. But I will touch on some of the notebooks that I do use for like the food/menu planning uh, stack that I use. But don't worry, we'll have a whole video dedicated to that. Okay, so I guess first things first, I guess we'll start off with that, the menu planning stuff, because it's not much as far as explanation, because I don't want to go into it too much just because we're doing a separate video for it. But there is 2 notebooks that I use. There's also another one, but like I said, I'll explain more. But I do have a recipe book that I use, and then this notebook is what I call a tried recipes book, where I write down all the recipes that I've tried within that month, within that year. So this is the notebook. Okay, so I guess let's go with this first. So this is a heirloom recipe book that I got it's from the company Write to Me. And this right here, basically, the purpose of this one is to have recipes that my kids enjoy and love, and have something for them that's written in a book, so it can be passed down. So lots of the recipes that they've known through childhood or that they loved, it goes in here. This is still an ongoing project. I still have to write a lot of recipes because a lot of the recipes live in my phone. And so that's one of the projects that I'm doing, is trying to add those recipes onto here. So this kind of allows me to have kind of like a side project to prepare recipes for my kids when they need it in the future. And so in hopes that they'd pass it down as well, because unfortunately I didn't have that for myself. It literally, everything that I'm doing, we're starting from scratch, me and my husband. So it starts with us. So that is what we're trying to do, is trying to pass down some things from their childhood, because, you know, as for me, I don't really have anything passed down to me, which is quite sad. But that's the reason why I'm doing this. So this is one of the notebooks that I use for that. And I have mentioned that I do have a tried recipe book. This is an MD B6 Slim notebook, and it's actually a monthly. I have a video explaining my whole process for this. Now, what I use this for is, like I had mentioned, my tried recipes. And it was a 2025 dated monthly planner. And I just kind of ignored the dates, and I kind of used the months as categories for my recipe book. And then I use the monthly to kind of break down like what recipe that is. And so, like, for example, for January, it's the sweets category. And then in the monthly calendar, in the squares, is where I actually write down that recipe, and then write down the page where the recipe is. And so the lined portion in this notebook is what I use to write down those recipes. And I think this is just more of a way for me to kind of be more aware and present with my cooking, because this is something that I do enjoy doing for my family, and it is a work in progress. So I'm constantly learning and trying to get better. And so this is part of my process doing that. This isn't necessary. Trust me, it's not necessary, but it allows me to put pen to paper, and allows me to just kind of, I don't even know what's the word, but just be present in the actual art of learning. And so, and I don't know if it's just, I'm pretty sure it's not just me, but a lot of times when I'm learning, whether it's studying, I have to put pen to paper. I feel like I can grasp it a little bit better than, like, say, listening. I'm a very much a visual learner. And so, and that's probably why I love notebooks so much, is because I can take that information and put it somewhere that's more accessible versus listening, because sometimes listening to things get lost. So this is kind of my process. So this is what helps me with that process. And so, yeah, so, like, say for example, we'll go to, like I said, like this one right here is a recipe that I tried, and it's on page 1. And so what I did was, with the line ones, I just numbered it, just so it's kind of like a bullet journal. And so page 1 will have that specific recipe. So I'm just going to continue using this until I run out of pages, and then I will most likely just use another notebook that I have. I don't have to necessarily use the same one, but I definitely have plenty of notebooks to use for the next one. So that is it. And then, of course, my menu planning system, which we'll go into in a different video, because I feel like that whole system deserves its own video. Okay, like I had mentioned, my planning my day, it really just consists of to-do lists. Like, I don't have to plan my hour. I don't have, like, events or anything, unless there is, like, events for the kids' school. And if there is, that usually goes onto the big family planner or calendar that we have on our refrigerator, that just hangs there, and we just put everybody's, like, work schedule, anything days off, stuff like that. And that just goes on to the family monthly calendar. And I don't really necessarily have, well, I do have like the important dates and the important um, appointments in my to go monthly planner, because this one specifically is made to, if I'm out and about and I need to make an appointment with somebody, at least I know what time blocks or what days are available and it doesn't clash with anything that's already planned. So it's kind of like a two calendar system. The one that stays home, and then the one that stays in my bag. Okay, so this brings to my kind of my functional planner, so to-do list. It's really, really simple, but I do have three, as you can see. So what I have here is, I guess we'll go from here to here. Okay, so this notebook is a Traveler's Company A6 Slim blank notebook. It's their spiral notebook. I'm not a big fan of spiral notebooks, but I do love this one just because the spiral is inside, and it's not like sticking out. And I do love this hard cardboard cover. Something about it, I love how it looks. And so I've been using this for a while. And I think I started this back in 2022. Yes, 2022, and I'm about done. So it took me 2 to 3, 4, almost 3 years to finish this notebook, which that just shows you that this notebook is just mainly for my to-do list at home, or just things that I need to kind of brain dump and make sure that I get that done, or information that I find out, like if there's a phone number that I need to call, or it's just random. I would say, I wouldn't call it like a catch-all, because I feel like people's catch-all is a little bit more than what I'm using this for, because literally it's just like a brain dump. It's not something that I need to like archive, although I will archive it just because I love the look of it. There's no way I'm throwing this away. I don't think I can throw any of my notebooks away, except for um, my diary that has like, for my like negative feelings and stuff like that. But anyways, getting sidetracked. But so yeah, so this is just basically my to-do list for at home, just information. So this usually, well, this stays on my desk, and usually it's just kind of open. I used to use it as a grocery list and menu planning, but I since swapped my menu planning and put it somewhere else. But this notebook was like for my to-do list, for appointments and grocery lists and all that stuff. So that was a whole thing where this would actually go with me outside, but then I also need it at home. And so instead of, it was just a little bit too much. I'd rather have, like I said, my brain works in tabs. So I'd rather have one that stays home and then one that goes out, which is this one right here. So this just stays on my desk. And then if needed, I will just write down like the things to do, or now a lot of this is taped because a lot of it has personal information, so I can't show too much, but I just love how it looks. And just, even though it's just one of those notebooks, well, in anything I don't do it for the camera. Like I don't, this is for my aesthetic. It's for me to enjoy and love. And so a lot of the times it's chicken scratch, but then when I'm done with the page, I'll stick a sticker on there just because I want it to make it look pretty for myself, not for anybody else, but for myself, because I'm the one that's actually looking at this. And I don't mind sharing any of this because, I don't know, I think journals and planners, they shouldn't be performative, right? So all these things that you see are the reflection of what I'm using in my life. And so it's not like this is for social media and this is for my actual life. No, everything you see, every notebook that you see, is I'm actually using it, and I just write however I want to write. If it's messy, if it's ugly, I don't really care, but at the end of the day, it's, you know, if I decide to take a little bit more care, or when I'm doing my pages, it's for me, not for anybody else, but for me. And so I like to put stickers and decorate my pages, sometimes before, sometimes after. Most of the time it's after. And I just kind of just add stickers to it. It's nothing fancy, but this is, I love this notebook, messy and all. And so, but yeah, so this is what I use for my to-do list. And I don't use it for grocery list, just any information. And I do have quite a few more pages. I'm assuming that this will actually run out by the end of this year, which I'm excited, because then that means I get to start a new one. And then I thought, so it says 2025. That's because I thought I was going to be done with this by 2025, and that wasn't the case. So I'm just going to have to probably just put a sticker above that to change it or whatever. But so this is going to be my next notebook, and it's actually craft. So I'm excited to use that for that. It is on standby. Okay, now, so like I mentioned, this is for my at home. This is for to go. Now, this is the one that houses my monthly calendar. And again, like I had mentioned, this is just for if I need to make appointments, and I just got to make sure that I don't make an appointment that doesn't clash with another event or another appointment. So that is why it's there. And I can't show too much because there is names and stuff in there. And I just have, and so what I house this in is a Louis Vuitton PM agenda, which I actually converted it into a TN system. I took out the rings for it. Now, if you want to do the same, there are plenty of tutorials on YouTube. I just can't show you anymore because I tried to put back the rings and the little metal clasp inside kind of broke. So I won't be able to attach it anymore. So I won't be able to make a video about that. But there are plenty of YouTube videos that can show you how to do it. It is very, very, very simple. But I did change it to a TN system because of the fact that I love having to use my Travelers Company monthly insert. So I usually get that every single year. And I do love having the snap closure. And I just have my extra cards that I use, and like my medical cards are in here, any like loyalty cards. It's super, super simple, but it's something that helps me stay organized. Now, this isn't something that I open or use every single day, but it's definitely a must that I need. And it, like I said, it's there when I need it. And so this helps me stay organized for that aspect. Okay. And then the next one I have is this cute little notebook. This is actually an MD A7 notebook, and it's housed in this Louis Vuitton mini agenda. And this is another rabbit hole that I went down, and I also actually have a video about it. But this one helps me, keeps me organized, because this is what I use for my grocery list and my menu planning. Well, semi-menu planning. But what I like to do is I like to add a menu plan or calendar, a monthly calendar in here, and kind of list what we're having. So when I'm out and about grocery shopping, I know exactly what we're having. And then if that ingredient is not available, I can kind of make a decision on the spot. Like, okay, well, that was only for this meal. We can push that out and we'll just get something else. But so this one stays in my purse along with this one. This one, like I said, I pull out for grocery lists, things I need to buy, and then, you know, the menu planning. So this is an A7 MD notebook, and it's super, super cute. It is super tiny. If you're not familiar with this size, I do have a passport size traveler's notebook, and as you can see, it's a lot smaller than that one. But this one, oops, sorry, but this one is a cute notebook, and same thing that I do with this one. I mean, there's nothing, I don't do any special layouts or anything. It's just whatever I'm using it for, and it's just literally for list, and then I add stickers to it because I love stickers. And so this is what I use to do like grocery lists, and this is what I mean when it comes to like the foods that we plan. I just put it here just so I have that information in case they don't have the ingredients, and I can kind of make a decision on the spot, like, okay, we can just do this. And so this helps me with my menu planning system. And so I love this little thing. But yeah, so this is what I use. And like I said, this stays in my bag. It only comes out when I need to do our grocery list. And if I need to add any to-dos that I need to transfer from here, that I need to do out there, just to kind of remind myself. So that is kind of the system that I'm using. Okay. The next system would be, I think that's 2 systems, right? I guess we'll save the big one for last, is my planning for like the Etsy shop or for YouTube. This one is a cut up Hobonichi Weeks. And this is a ring system, a ring binder that I can't really open this up to show you, but I do have, I keep stepping on this notebook to kind of show you what it is. Okay, so what I did was I cut down a Hobonichi Weeks. I also have a video on this. I will link it in the cards, or I will put it at the end. But basically what I did was I cut up a Hobonichi Weeks. I found a rings binder because when it comes to planning, especially like with business or with, sometimes it requires a ring planner for me. And so I found a ring system that actually fits a Hobonichi Weeks paper. And so this is what it looks like. You can see, there we go. And like I mentioned, I just cut up Hobonichi Weeks pages like so. And yeah, so this is what I use for YouTube when I need to plan out like all my ideas, or just organizing the things that comes with all that stuff. So like my social media and stuff like that. So it's all organized here. And then I also have an A5 MD notebook. And this I will show you, can't show you what I have in here, but this is how it looks. It's actually a limited edition notebook from their 10th anniversary. And it has grid right here, and then it has a margin. This is what I use to organize my designs, the things that we make. So yeah, it's more creative than anything than functional, but it has a function in my life. And so this is something that I use to help me brain dump ideas, as well as just the schematics of the designs that we do. So it's a two notebook system. Okay, so last but not least, I feel like this is what kind of runs my household. And it's very important to me because it's the heart of my system. And so I currently have 4 books in this system. And here, as you can see, there are 4 books. And so I guess what I can do is like kind of do, these kind of go hand in hand. So let's talk about this notebook. So this notebook, this is actually from Papier. It is a stationery. Actually, let me put this aside because the camera wants to focus on it. Okay. It's from Papier. They are a stationery company, and you can actually customize your notebooks, which is pretty cool. And this is the reason why I kind of love that. I do have a few other notebooks from them for other reasons, but that's more for my creative process. But this one right here, you can actually put this one actually has our last name and stuff in it. And so this notebook, I do have, it's plain pages, but when I customize this, you can add whatever photos. These aren't photos of our house, but this was photos that inspired me how I want our house to look. And so a lot of these kind of look like how our house looks. And so this was just inspiration, but you could add your own title. And in this case, I put Home Interiors and Designs Plans, Volume 1. I wish I had this with our first home back in Utah, because I used to do my ideas and designs on a scratch piece of paper, and or even a sketchbook, the spiral sketchbooks. And when a project is done, I would throw it away. And I would love to, I wish I had those plans with me, or I wish I had this system where I could contain it in one book, in this specific book, because, you know, but, and I could look back on it. Luckily, I do have pictures of the projects we did, but it would be nice to have like the measurements, although the measurements will always change, but just like the process and how much it costs and blah, 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 blah. So anyway, so this is what I chose for that. It's a blank notebook. And as you can see, this is where I write down, like whenever we're remodeling, doing anything, I like to sketch out my ideas. Like in this case, it was our mud room. And our mud room has a powder room attached to it. And then we also have like a big family closet that I actually turned into a utility room. But this was me, trying to figure out, okay, this is what I want. This is, and I break down the steps that we need to do, or the phases. And then I even like sometimes write down the cost of it. And so everything that we do for the house, it goes here, and it just kind of, I really wish I had my old plans but yeah, so this is just a really cool way to archive and organize my thoughts when it comes to decorating, when we wanted to do like the backyard, when I wanted to do our walk-in closet, just things like that. Or actually, this is the utility closet. So you're looking down. And it actually looks like this. This is exactly what we did. And how my containers. So this is, as someone who likes to create and do things, this has been such great reference and just a way to put down all of that thoughts. And I don't know, I love this thing. So anytime we do any kind of remodel or project for the house or building or whatever, it goes in this notebook. And I love the fact that it's customized with our name. And then, I can't wait for volume 2, but that requires a lot of money, right, to do all these different projects. So I feel like we'll be in volume 1 for a very long time. A very long time. Okay. This right here was the most recent project I did. It was my reference planner, which was in this as a traveler's notebook, but for over the years, it just didn't work out for me. And so what I ended up doing was I actually converted this TN into a ring system. And I do also have a video of my process doing this. But this reference planner is like literally the heart of everything. It has all the information that I need, like notes, our house and car information, our finance stuff, education. Now, this is just reference, so it doesn't have like all of it, but it just has just enough information that I need, like quick reference. And so like our health stuff, birthdays. Now, when I say this is the heart, this is a reference, it kind of branches out into 2 other notebooks. And what I did, because it is a ring system, all I did was just cut up a standard size traveler's notebook insert and just punched holes in it. And so let me see if I can show anything Like, for example, this one, these are for the logons and the devices that we have, the computer stuff. And so that has that information. And then the paper, like I had mentioned, is just a insert. And I just kind of cut it up and then just punched in the holes. Really, really simple process, but this is one of my favorite projects that I did this year. Just because it's something super useful for my life, and it just kind of stays on my desk and it's there when I need it. All right. And so, like I had mentioned, and I did mention, right, this is a Traveler's Company Traveler's Notebook in the Camel. It's an Ace Hotel edition in the standard size, and I had just added rings to it. Very, very simple. Let me put that right there. And like I had mentioned, it kind of branches out to two different things. Now, I said there was like a finance tab on there, and there is. It's just one of those quick reference information, but it doesn't go in deep as far as the things I need. What I do have is this Hobonichi Weeks. This is a 2021 Hobonichi Weeks. And what I ended up doing, because I started using this in 2021, but I never finished it. And so there were a lot of blank pages. So what I ended up doing was converting it into my finance book. And it's almost kind of perpetual because it has so many pages. So I'm going to use this year after year after year until I run out of pages. But what I ended up doing was taking the months and the weeks and converting the weeks pages into a monthly calendar. So right now, I can't show too much because I do have like sensitive information on here. Okay. So as you can see, I have tabs for 2024 and 2025, and that's the monthly. I can go into 2026 because the weeks pages is what I'm going to convert into a monthly. And what I mean by that is, for example, okay, here's the 2026. So this is December 2025. And here's me converting, oh, actually 2026. So I'm still able to use the monthly pages, but okay, here we go. So this is a weekly page that I converted into a monthly so I can use it for April 2026. And there's tons of weekly pages in here, so that's going to be a lot of months that I'll be able to use. And then in the back side is where it kind of has the meat and potatoes, which is basically like I can't show too much. Let's see. Like here's a layout that I did for everything that we sold, like our like on like Facebook Marketplace or Poshmark. And then it's just basically just the money, just kind of keep track of that. I also have like a list of our debts. I also have like the list of our bills. Like I said, this is more in depth as far as finance information goes. So I actually have this here that also stays on my desk. And this is where I kind of keep track of our spending as well in the monthly calendar. And it's kind of nice because I'll have multiple years in this just one small little book, and it works out for me. So this is something that I really, really enjoy. And having it in many years I could use for many years kind of takes out that need of like purchasing a new notebook for this specific reason or creating new inserts. Everything's there. The problem I had with a finance planner and like having to purchase a new notebook over and over again is that I would have to transfer the information that was in here into that new notebook. And I didn't like that at all, because the only thing that changes is the monthly stuff. But as far as the information, nothing changes. It's just there to track, to write down. And so it was annoying having to transfer all that information into a new notebook. So this is the reason why I have it this way. I also have a video of this whole process, but if you want me to make a new video explaining this, I can totally do that as well. Just let me know. Okay. And then last but not least, this you guys don't ever see because it's not something that I really talk much about, but this goes in hand with our household stuff. This has all our receipts, all the maintenance stuff, all our warranties, and usually all of that stuff is in a, you know, not an A5, but like a A4 or letter size paper. And so, I mean, technically you could use this and do it as a filing system, which you can. I actually do have a filing system for more paperwork, because we're talking about like your mortgage statements, your like insurance statements, like all of that stuff obviously cannot fit in this. But what this holds is like the warranty paperwork, the warranty certificates, any work order paper that we got from maintenance and stuff like that whenever we had something fixed, business cards from different, what do you call it, from different um, services that we need. And I also do have a basket of manuals for all of our appliances and everything. So that's actually another system added to this. It's just a basket that has all the manuals in there. But yeah, this is what it holds. And I currently actually use it in a disk system because it's just a lot easier to just file it in here. So I do have a hole puncher for the disk system. And whenever we get a receipt or a work order or whatever, I just punch hole it with that, and then I file it in here, which makes my life a lot easier and more organized. And so like if we say, oh, we need our furnace fixed, who was it that did that? I can look it up on here, or I could look it on our reference planner. But if I said, oh, I need to know how much we spent last time, I can look it on here because the receipt's in here. So this is a very important functional thing that I use. This is from, is it Home Depot? It was their M system. Um, and I think they still have the M system. I'm not exactly too sure. Or maybe they have a different brand. But I mean, I bought this a while back. I want to say like mid 2000s. I don't know if they still have this, but I'm sure there's different brands that, you know, do this. But this actually stays in my utility closet. That stays with my whole filing system when it comes to paperwork. That's another beast in itself. If you know, you know. It's like I feel like paper, as much as I love paper, letters and all that stuff from the mail is like my nemesis. Like it just piles up and it doesn't go away. I feel like it just gets worse and worse. And so I do have a system. Like I have my little shredder and a little basket there for important things that I need to go through or needs to be shredded. And it's just, but it's a little bit more organized than years prior. So I'm getting the hang of learning what system works for me. So, but yeah, this is what I use for that. And like I said, you probably won't ever see this, but this has more things about the house, like the paint, the decor, where we bought it. And it's very useful. And I'm glad I have this because I can just brain dump it and not have to worry about like, oh, where do we go for this thing? It's right here. So very, very helpful. Okay. That is pretty much it as far as my systems go. Like I said, this is a little bit different from usually. I kind of touch on like my creative process in my notebooks, but I did want to share with you guys the other systems that I use that I don't really share much on here because there's really not it's not like I don't want to share it, but it's like there's really no sense for me to share like, oh, we had a plumber in today and we're going to put it into this notebook. Like that's not something that I need to talk about on my channel. And so, but I did want to show you the different notebooks and systems that I use to help organize my life. You know, hopefully this will help you. Just take what you need, leave the rest. But hopefully this is something that helps you if you're trying to organize your life. I know for me, notebooks and planners are a way for me to do that, is to organize and to put some structure in the things that I'm doing for my life to keep things organized. And for some people, it might be just one notebook. And for people like me, that I just work in tabs. My brain works in tabs, and I need certain notebooks for certain things. And I think separating that into categories for myself has helped me organize and be on top of things, especially in a household of 5, and just there's lots of moving parts. And luckily, I don't have to add like any work stuff for that, because that's not something I have to plan or anything. But I can only imagine if you have to add on top of that, that's another thing. But I think more so, if that was the case for me, having these systems for myself will help me like not have to be, I don't know, like it makes me not as stressed. You know, I know that if I need certain information, I know where to find it, kind of thing. And like I mentioned, like this right here lives in the utility closet, and the rest of these right here lives in the studio slash, I guess, office. I don't call it office because I'm not like, I don't work. So this is more of my creative studio, somewhere where I can journal, but I do have these on my shelf. So okay, I think that is pretty much it. I hope you enjoyed this video, a little insight on the notebooks and planners that kind of help organize my life, to help me stay on top of things. And, you know, hopefully you got some ideas on how to organize your life in multiple notebooks, if that's something that you're trying to figure out. But like I mentioned, it's a personal thing, right? It really depends on your needs, and in this case, this is what is working for me. And it's a process. I'm not saying like this is exactly that's it's going, it may change in the future, who knows. But I've had this system for the longest. My reference planner I've had for the longest. I mean, I think the only thing that has changed in my process is how I divvy up that information into things. And in this case, like I had mentioned, I had all of this was all in one, but I've split it up into 3 separate notebooks. You know what I'm saying? So it's one of those things that you'll know when you try things out. Like, I think that it's a trial and error, right? And so I hope you maybe feel inspired or learned a few things that might help you in your system, if this is something that you're trying to figure out for yourself. But yeah. Okay, that is it. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. I hope you guys are having an amazing day, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.